Hey, we're really excited to have our very first speakers with us today for this semester speaker series. And many of you probably recognize Matt and Shad. They were recently graduated, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spring 2022.
Spring 2022, our T-Word alumni coming back to give back to all of you. So we're really excited to have them here, especially for our first one. Let me give you a little brief bio on Matt and Shad, some of the things they did here at SUU, and then I'm going to turn it over to them because that's who we want to hear from, right? So, while at SUU, Matt and Shad were instrumental in putting together the Hope Corps program, and if any of you know or don't know what that is, essentially they put together a team of students that served local businesses, especially during kind of the COVID crazy time when businesses were struggling and maybe didn't have funds to do marketing and website and ad spend and all those things. They were instrumental in putting that program together and served just numerous businesses and did so much good, not only here at SUU but in the community as well. And that, if that was any inclination for how they would succeed as an entrepreneur, they've done very well now, transitioning into their own opportunity, which you'll hear about here as far as the crypto gaming space and what they're doing there. They've started that, and that was just started That was
January
last year, right?
Yeah.
And so it goes to show what kind of progress they've been able to create during that short period of time. And so you're going to hear a lot more about their crypto games company and what they're working on and what they're doing. And again, not only are they smart and handsome and all these other things, but they've created a really cool opportunity for themselves right after graduation to pursue this entrepreneurial venture and this opportunity. And we are so excited to have Matt and Shad here to share their wisdom with us. So let's give them a round of applause.
All right, well, thank you for having us. We're super excited, and I don't know, it might sound weird, but I kind of miss school. It's weird. Like the 8-hour workday, it's great, but school's a lot of fun. And we hope today, like one unique thing is, as Shad and I were talking, is you're going to hear from a lot of incredible speakers in this course that are going to inspire you and help you understand how you can become a successful business owner as well as just a better person. And a lot of these people have 30, 40 plus years of experience, and sometimes they're multimillionaires. That's not us, right? We were literally in your shoes a semester ago, right? So we hope that this can be really real and you can see like, oh, these guys were just students and this is what they did. And we hope that this can maybe inspire you that you can start a business this semester very efficiently, very easily with the classmates that you surround yourself with. So without further ado, we're going to give you a quick overview of who we are. It's always important to know who you're speaking with, to know kind of their background and their history. So I'll let Shad start.
Yeah, my name is Shadrac Reyes. I graduated just this last spring semester with Matthew. I have a bachelor's in computer science. I've have about 2-3 years of professional software development experience and about 1,000 hours at this point of sales experience and training. So that's me.
And then my name's Matthew. I graduated with a degree in marketing with an emphasis in sales and analytics. And the entrepreneurship program was instrumental. As Landon said, Shad and I met through the Entrepreneurship Center, and that I never thought like the person I was working with would later become one of my best friends and founders of a company. But I remember first day of business class like 3 years ago, Professor Swaggart, for taking microeconomics, he's like, hey, the most valuable thing of your education isn't like what I'm going to teach you, it's the people that you surround yourself with. And it kind of sounds cliche, you're like, yeah, right, but it really is true. Like the people in this room that you're sitting next to or the people you do group projects with, take advantage of that because they're either going to become a multimillionaire or you're going to become a multimillionaire or together you can become a billionaire. That's my thought.
Provide yourself some experiences. I just want to add on, I can't emphasize the importance of that. It may be a little controversial still to say, but college is still not a guaranteed ROI, return on investment. Like while you're here, you got to make it worthwhile. And networking is by far the most valuable thing you could ever do. It has provided me all my experiences that I've earned. It's not like I didn't just come to college with all these experiences or have the connections already with family or whatever. No, I had to meet people, and those connections provided me those experiences.
Right. And so with that in mind, like as we present, kind of have in the back of your mind, like, who in my circle of influence can I start a business with? Because you can do it. But let's get into the nitty gritty. What's our story?
Well, first I got to ask a question. Now, how many of you right now have just so much faith in the U.S. dollar and where it's headed right now? Any takers? Anyone trust it? Yeah, see, I maybe someone's not speaking up, but I think everyone agrees here that everyone's a little scared right now. Everything's a little freaky, especially after COVID. A lot of trust has been lost in the US dollar, and that's why other people are looking for other financial avenues, such as like cryptocurrency. The only problem is it is complicated, it's not comfortable, it's not easy to get into. So that's why we created crypto. Crypto whales.
Going along with that, how many of you are familiar with what cryptocurrency is? Like, if you could give us a basic definition. Mitchell, do you want to send it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And it's decentralized finance, and those transactions are completed through blockchain technology.
He's the man, right? Now, how many of you are like, what the heck did that just mean?
Do any of you know how to define a blockchain? That's another question.
Shouts to the expert on this.
What a blockchain is? Because that's the foundation of the software, these networks. We got one?
Isn't it kind of a giant Excel spreadsheet that has a bunch of numbers that are all checking each other, making sure things are squared away?
Yeah, that's a good way to define it. It's just kind of a database for transactions that are cross-checked by multiple nodes in these networks, which are just separate computers that people run themselves. So there's a bunch of ways you can explain it. It's very vast, but that's right there is why crypto is so important, because it is a revolutionary software. Not many people really understand just why. They hear it, they don't know why, but many people don't. In fact, I assume that 99% might even be a good number of people probably don't know how to define what a blockchain is. And that's something we want to try to fix. So.
Exactly. And so, like, the whole point, I guess, of our story was our you'll learn this in Landon's class, but as you go, like, through the entrepreneurship journey, your initial product changes. We did not think we were going to start a crypto card game company that is going to be revolutionary in widespread crypto adoption. That's kind of our vision. Originally, it was just like, we just want to play a fun game, right? Mm-hmm. So, to provide more context on that, Shad and I, it was January 2022, and it was just off Christmas break, and we're like, we had a great Christmas break, we're graduating in this semester, and we want to start a business. But we're like, how do we do that? Because we've helped a lot of businesses, as Landon said. We had helped them go through that process, and we're finally at the point of like, we kind of want to do our own thing. Like, it's great to help others grow, but it's like even more rewarding to do it when it's your own creation, right? So Shad and I, we got together and we made a promise, right? We are going to meet every Tuesday at 7:30 in that tiny room upstairs that has like the weird swirly chairs. I call it like the Harry Potter room because it's like a secret room no one uses. It's a great room to study, by the way. But we had Domino's Pizza and we had a whiteboard. And our goal was to write 100 ideas down. Because Davis Smith, he founded Cotopaxi. I went to a speaker series with him once, and he actually said, as you go throughout that process of writing 100 different ideas, once you hit that mark, you're going to have at least 3 or 4 that are golden ideas that you can actually take and build something out of, right? So Shad and I, we started writing, We got to, I think, 5, 10, and some of these ideas were pretty crappy.
Yes.
Oh, they were bad.
Yeah, a lot of them were like, I'm sure you guys have experienced too. I especially do because I'm a software developer, but a lot of tech ideas. It is so easy to have tech ideas. So I guess if that's a hint, like, it's not a bad idea to have a tech idea, but most people have tech ideas because it's the easiest to conceptualize. But the truth is it's actually one of the hardest to complete. So I guess keep in mind during your brainstorming sessions that if you have a tech idea, make sure either you have software development knowledge, or if it's basic enough that you can develop that knowledge, or that you have a partner or a lot of money, honestly, to pay someone to develop it for you. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Because I think we've all been like, oh, what if there was an app for this, right? Or what if there was an app for this? And the great thing is, write those ideas down. Even though you may not have $100,000 to develop the app, the important thing is that you're recognizing problems on a day-to-day basis and you're writing them down. So step 1, if you want to get started, just on your phone, on your notes tab, just write business ideas and try to get to 100, okay? So I think we hit around 25, and we kind of hit a roadblock, and it was a long weekend, and so I went with my wife's family up north just to visit, and of course, we had to play some card games. Our favorite games as a family, we love Cover Your Assets, Skull King, Monopoly, Dill. All of those are a family favorite, and so as we were playing Cover Your Assets, I think my house stack, I don't know if you ever played it, but you know when someone steals like your massive stack and you feel really pissed off and angry at them, like, why'd you do that? Right? Well, I just thought about them, like, man, they stole my houses. And I'm like, huh, what if there was like cryptocurrency in this game, you know? Like, you could steal Bitcoin from other people. And so that kind of started turning, and I was like, guys, what if there's like some sort of Cover Your Assets themed cryptocurrency game? And Brooke, my wife, her brother's like, you mean like cover your crypto? I was like, yeah, cover your crypto. And I kind of thought it was kind of funny, and I was like, I'll write that idea down, right? And so a week later, it's our pizza and brainstorming night. We're shoveling down some Domino's pizza, all greasy fingers, right? It's great. And I'm like, Shad, I was playing with my family, and I'm like, what if we did a card game about cryptocurrency, like cover your crypto?
And I got really excited because I thought that was a great idea right off the bat. Like Matthew, when he said it, he was just like, it was just an idea thrown out there. But I was like, yes, let's look into that a little bit. So we dove in deeper and we discovered something really, really interesting. There are no crypto-themed card games, and it's a currency, and games are one of the biggest market makers for the tabletop industry.
And to provide some context, tabletop games, it's about a $700 million industry. Cryptocurrency is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? And obviously, the reason we bring up those facts is there's a lot of interest around both, and we found our niche. We're like, well, everyone loves card games, right? And people love cryptocurrency, they hate cryptocurrency, or they're scared out of their minds about cryptocurrency. So what if we combine the two? And so that is where we started. We're going to make a fun game about cryptocurrency, right? A cover your crypto. We didn't do that because we'd probably get sued by Grandpa Bex for copyright infringement. That's why we're not used to do cover your crypto. But that is how it went. We're going to take a card game and mix it with cryptocurrency and maybe provide some sort of education. Now, this part was kind of the messy part, but the really fun part.
Yeah, so we done the easy part. We did the brainstorming. That's the easy part. Now, creating something out of nothing. So what's the best way to create something out of nothing? You find your favorite examples, and you just start putting pieces together, and you create something. So we combined Bitcoin, Cover Your Assets, Bonanza, Monopoly Deal, Exploding Kittens, probably a couple other games I'm forgetting, and plus a little bit of education. And we created Crypto Whales. And it was a horrible game. It was so bad.
So I don't know if you can see this here. This is a lined piece of paper that we drew on. We took Bonanza, we vandalized it, we threw in some FaceTime cards, and that was our game. That was our prototype. But the important thing was we had something to test our ideas, right? It wasn't just on paper anymore. We had actually made a very simple physical product that we could start to work with, right? This doesn't just apply to crypto card games, but anything that you might be interested in. It's important to take the idea and get some sort of prototype, whether that's 3D printing it, right? Or talking to your buddy who's an engineer who can design it on CAD software. It's important though to take the idea and actually go one step further. Actually get a mock-up, even if it's a crappy mock-up, okay? So this is prototype 1. Here's prototype 2, a little better, right? If you look, these cards, we printed them at the library, you know. We stayed up till like 10 o'clock at night just dragging and dropping these logos. Spent like 2 hours cutting them out. Got some paper cuts.
Like probably 4 hours actually. Yeah, this took a while to make. This probably took like 12 hours to create right here. And yeah, but this was really, really important though, because this allowed us our first attempt to actually play with other people. Even though it was really hard to play with, it was something that we could play test with. Something that we could use to get ideas and advice from other people who had no biases in something like this. Because that's a really, really hard part about any companies. You have to constantly think from your consumer's perspective, because then you might get lost on tangents that actually aren't worth your while.
And so this is what we had about late January. And Opportunity Quest is one of It happens in, I guess it's kind of changing, right? But it's the competition the Entrepreneurship Center does in the spring. That was coming up. And we're like, hey, we have this idea. We are going to compete in this thing just for the heck of it. Well, this is what we had, right? So we're like, crap, we got to get something that actually looks a little bit better. So we talked to our friend Madeline Tebbs. She's an incredible designer who we met here at SUU. And she really helped us make it look a lot better, right? Still not too shabby. We printed these out. We did a promo video. And we competed in an opportunity quest. I'm like, we're just going to send it, right? See what happens. Well, we won. We won $2,000 to put into our card game. And this was what we had. But the important thing was we were talking to people, we were talking to professors, mentors, and we were just getting feedback on, number one, there's nothing in this space, right? It was a completely open market with massive profit potential, as well as the flip side of there was a huge market need for crypto education. So there was a lot of validation from friends and family and mentors that kind of gave us the faith to keep going forward, because this does not look like a good idea. This looks a little bit better. Here's prototype 4.
Yeah, so this one was probably, this was one of the first like really, really exciting moments we had other than winning the opportunity quest. We felt like we were on the right track. Like because keep in mind, this whole time we were like, this doesn't look good. It could be better. It's constantly like, what could this be? We're constantly looking towards the future and getting upset at what we currently had. But when we got this, we manufactured it from a company here in the USA. It was very expensive, way more money than it should have been. But it allowed us to actually like hold our components, like our professional designs and our professional components at the same time. And it like really kind of built a fire under us to keep going. And it allowed us to show something to the judges at the next competition we did, which was the Utah Entrepreneurship competition, which we got to participate in because we won Opportunity Quest. And that was fundamental. And it really allowed us to actually play with even larger, diverse group of people who have not played the game, because we actually had professional components they can mess around with. People took it a little bit more seriously when we had something like this.
And when we were at the Utah Entrepreneurship competition, we were going against BYU, the U, and all these other big universities. And SU always comes in clutch because it's the best, and we won People's Choice, right? I know there's a couple of you that voted for us, so thank you. You guys rock. We won People's Choice, so we got another $1,000. And then we competed in the top 9. We got another $1,000 for getting in there. But we didn't make it. We didn't make the top 3, and that was where the big cash was, the $20,000 plus. And we put our heart and soul into that. Tyler can vouch for us. We were practicing, I think we were up to like 11 o'clock at midnight. He was our audience, and we were just pitching to him. He was very patient with us and gave us some great feedback. But the incredible thing is about these pitch competitions, win or lose, it's getting your idea out there and getting it constructively broken down so you can see the flaws in it and see how you can build it better. One thing that was game-changing was when we went to the competition, where we really got dinged was our profitability. Because currently at that time, Game Crafter, it was $15, $20 a unit.
Oh, I think if we were doing 250, it was about $18 a unit.
So we were planning on selling this game for about $20, $25, and to make the game was like $15, right? That is a terrible, terrible profit margin.
And that's after all the fees, like
That's not even including shipping, right?
Yeah, non-clean shipping, vending fees. There's a lot of costs that go into making a product. Some things you wouldn't, and we didn't realize existed either. So that really dinged us in that competition. Yeah.
But one of Robin, she was one of the judges that we talked to afterward, and she's like, wait, you guys have such an incredible potential. What if you talk to crypto exchanges? And what if there were affiliate deals? So when people play your game, there's an opportunity for them to start a wallet with Coinbase, right? Or with Kraken. Coinbase, for any of you that know, like the Super Bowl, you know that QR code that was floating around the screen, and you could scan it? Anyway, that's Coinbase. It's probably one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. It's awesome. So her whole, feedback was, this isn't just a game, but it can be a way to get affiliate profit from these large crypto exchanges, because you can get people that are interested in cryptocurrency, and then you can connect them to these exchanges that then will pay you for bringing them customers, right? So that was like, whoa, that was a huge shift in our mindset.
Yeah, she gets a few other ideas, but yeah, that was fundamental into changing our whole. It actually completely shifted our whole business goals and perspective. So that's been very beneficial for us. And then we recently just finished the final product. So all the professional designs are done. We have all the sizing dimensions done, and our manufacturer is going to be working on it very, very soon. And we are now. Probably should have brought this up earlier, but yeah, we shifted to a Chinese manufacturer. So that was fundamental. We took a look at our costs, we broke everything down, and we're like, wow, yeah, like we can make this work with some of the seed funding we have, but how far can we make it? So like, okay, we took the jump and we emailed like, how many, like 7 manufacturers probably, 7 manufacturers, and a lot of them got back to us and we're like, oh wow, that's how much money we could save? We're like, we're gonna have to go through this process at some point anyway, so let's just start focusing on this. So that's led us to where we are now, and this is a sneak peek at what our final product is.
And to add on to Shad, like, I think one maybe hurdle that took us after graduation, we had the money and we could have printed it through Game Crafter, but we would have lost so much of that seed money that we had gotten from the Entrepreneurship Center. And it wouldn't have been profitable. The other thing too is we were scared out of our mind. How do you start manufacturing in China? Like, they're on a different time zone and everything. It's as simple as you literally just Google Chinese manufacturers and we're like, oh, Long Pack Games. We emailed their sales team, and within 24 hours they got back to us. So that was a huge lesson. Say you have an idea, you get a prototype ready, it's not hard to start talking with manufacturers. Email people in China, Vietnam, those like hubs for manufacturing. That is what they do, and they're very good at it. So it's not like a complex process. You don't need to know a millionaire to get you like connected. Just Google, find a company, and email them. That's something I wish someone would have just told me. It's like, it's super easy to manufacture in China. You literally just have to shoot an email.
Yeah, we would have saved months if we had started that earlier.
Yeah,
so,
seriously.
Yeah, learn that lesson now. Yeah, reach out. They're sales teams. Their goal is to make money off of you. They're going to talk to you.
Now, this is probably one, we're going to give you a little teaser. This is probably the most unique concept of our game, because everything else takes other elements of, cover your assets, monopoly deal, but this is, I call it the snazzy jazzy, the sexy part of our game, right? It's a simulated marketplace where it introduces the basics of volatility in a market and familiarizes someone, whether they're 8 or 108, the basics of investing in a really, really fun way. And I'm going to call Faith and Chase out. They're 2 really good friends. They've played it and they've been instrumental in giving us some really good feedback. But this was kind of our I don't know.
That's our key component, I'd say. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's our biggest selling point of the game. That's what really makes us unique, because the truth is, once you really start delving down into the theory of card games, a lot of them are just very similar. They just take different routes to getting to the same place. But this is what makes us really stand out. And honestly, it's what makes it a lot of fun, because I guess just the truth in some ways is kind of just gambling, because we can't actually simulate a real marketplace. So who doesn't like getting lucky?
So lesson, build something, mimic, again, we mimicked other games, right? We didn't just start from scratch, we mimicked other games, but then add your own ingredient, right? And for us, this is like our big contribution to the game industry. And I'm really excited to see if someone will replicate it. Because if they do, I'll take it as a compliment. I really liked it. Okay. What are your costs?
So yeah, just to sum up some of the things that we learned during this process, like knowing your costs is incredibly important. It's shocking. Like I had some numbers, and we had written down some numbers of like generalizing kind of the things we were spending on, the things that we had to spend money on. But it wasn't until one of our mentors told us to. I believe he actually sent us a Excel sheet with just this giant, disgusting-looking Excel sheet with like all the details that we have to break down our company and our expenditures, costs, and income into. And we spent many hours working on that. And after we did that, we're like, it changed our entire goal set. So that right there was really the big conversion from us working in the U.S. to going to China. And honestly, we can't know because we didn't go that direction, but it might have been a big saver for a company. Who knows if we would have survived spending that much on games, at least without getting a lot of investment, giving away a ton of the company. So once you have your idea, you create your minimum viable product prototype, and you will start getting consumers, know your costs, know them in extremely painful details. Not fun to do, but that's part of owning a company. You just got to do it.
Yeah, and I wish I would have included maybe a picture of the spreadsheet, but it was really cool because working with China, like they have everything priced out. So the dice is 6 cents, the cards are $1 something, but every single component down to the wrapping is priced. And by knowing everything so detailed, we can scale it, right? We know, all right, if we purchase 1,000 units, we know exactly the cost and we know how much we can sell it for. And just knowing that whole knowing your costs, what Shad said, is so important, because if they're higher than, basic accounting, right? If they're higher than your revenue, you're going to go out of business, right? So know your costs. And I think, anything you want to add on this, Shad?
No, we kind of already talked about where we are. No.
Okay. I think, we kind of hit on, pretty much everything's there. So where we are going, right? So currently, yesterday, we actually submitted our official order to China to order 1,500 units of our card game, right? And it's been so exciting, but so painful, because going through all of the nitty-gritty late night stuff to get everything ready. But this is where, like, our vision, right? We already talked, we were working on affiliate deals with other crypto exchanges to promote cryptocurrency in that avenue by, whether it's on our box or in instructions, but pretty much providing a way that crypto exchanges can advertise on our games. We're even making games about a specific cryptocurrency. Also, coming soon is our Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, so Kickstarter is a really big deal for us. Honestly, I think it should be a big deal for most people. In the end, it's not something super hard to set up, and it can work out really well for you. We know quite a few people who've been very successful on it. It's a crowdfunding platform. It's most popular for tabletop games, but is also used for a wide variety of other things. Just honestly, the amount of people that recommended us using Kickstarter or some crowdfunding platform is crazy. So when you guys start your businesses, like, really consider that. Like, even if it doesn't do well, who cares? You gave it a shot, maybe you made a bit of money. Like, even if you made $100, $200, that's still something. So.
And with Kickstarter, the cool thing is, have any of you guys played Exploding Kittens? Yeah? So they were a Kickstarter success story. They had a campaign goal of $12,000, and they earned over $8 million. $8 million on Kickstarter. And the way Kickstarter works is it pretty much allows people to pledge to buy your product, and if you meet your campaign goal, you get all of that money, right? But one thing that we've learned is originally Kickstarter was our way that we were going to launch our product, and Rich Christensen gave some really valuable feedback of Kickstarter is like a firework, right? It's a really big way to, like, kind of blow up your product and get it out there, but it is not a successful channel to continue to sell your product. And so what we're currently working on is with these 1,500 units, we're going to validate proof of sale by selling them online through local game stores and get all that design feedback and start collecting our customer base, our fan base, right? People that just love our game. And then that is what we're going to build up for a Kickstarter campaign, which will launch probably early next year for our second rendition of Crypto Wells. And there we're really hoping to skyrocket big. Because if we have our audience already built up, that's the key to a good Kickstarter campaign. You can't just expect the algorithm to promote it and you to do well. You need at least 10,000 emails already plugged into it so it works well. So, just things we've learned about Kickstarter. Incredible. It's not a channel, but it's an incredible way to get your product out there and get money for it. And then let's see.
Yeah.
Do we hit on NFTs or?
Oh yeah. I'm sure we also plan on doing some crypto well NFTs. And I'm sure everyone here has heard of NFTs, at least most people. another thing that people hear about but don't really know how it works. But NFTs are really cool. Currently, they're used right now for mostly artwork, but a lot of things people don't know is that NFTs, they are literally just programs, really themselves, currently represented by artwork, but they can represent a lot of things. So we want to do some cool crypto NFTs that will give people access to our future suite of products or any other educational resources or partnerships we create. And yeah, they're really awesome. And another really cool thing about NFTs is that this is, have you guys heard of Bored Apes? Anyone? Bored Apes? I know you've heard of Bored Apes. He's big into NFTs. Yeah, so they sell for like hundreds, $200,000 just all the time. Very, very expensive. But built into the algorithm, the people who made them, they make 5 to 7%, just a percentage royalty off of every sale. So imagine you just created a piece of artwork and you just sat back, and then every time it sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you just made 7% off of it. You just made $14,000. So NFTs are really cool. We really hope to introduce them into our suite of products soon, so that just provide as an option for people to gain access to some of our products.
Definitely. And then, so again, our mission, we started out as a company that just wanted to make a fun card game. And now it's totally changed and pivoted and zigzagged to a company that is committed to creating crypto education, or creating card games that are addictively fun, but also introduce you to the basics of crypto education. So remember at the start of class, when there was only like 3 or 4 of us that raised our hands about cryptocurrency. Our goal is that everyone can know the basics of cryptocurrency, but that you don't have to like watch 20 hours of YouTube to even understand it. You can play a game and understand the basic concepts of it. So that is where we are going.
Now, I guess to sum it up, like, I'm sure many of you guys have seen the quote at this point. It's pretty popular because it's pretty extreme, honestly. Starting a company is like staring at abyss and eating glass. Except I want to add a caveat onto that. I want to say it's like eating glass and then wearing a blindfold and going up a flight of stairs to somewhere that you don't know how long the stairway is. There were so many points, and we have the benefit of not years of hindsight to tell you this, because I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about their entrepreneurship experience. Just like they make it sound really profound. Like they came in, they had a purpose. Like they came out of the womb pretty much just knowing what they were driven to do. Like that's not how it works. We like cryptocurrency, we like card games, but we developed a passion along the way that I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with cryptocurrency now, way more than I used to be. But so it's a process. There were so many points where like, I don't know if this is going to work, or we're going to fail. So many, because we get to tell you a lot of the good parts, what's happened, but the truth is we've spent over 500 hours combined so far, most of it throughout our semester, working on this company, building it, doing the gross cost analysis, emailing, messaging, play testing, all the gameplay adjustments. We have a drive that probably has like 1,000 documents in it now, just of different ideas or just different projects we're working on. So it is really kind of painful in a lot of ways, but it kind of like you just become obsessed with it. It becomes your child. So, and you never know when you're going to stop, if you're going to have just barely missed out on like a gold mine. Just like you see the diamonds there. You got to keep going. Like you just can't stop.
And that's where, again, maybe something unique about us is we haven't made it big yet. We're still in this process, and our goal is by the end of this year to become a profitable company. And so I think we're like right here. We almost turned back, but we haven't. So we're about to break through. But just keep that in mind. It takes grit to keep going, and you just gotta stick with it. Because it's I don't know, Professor Rogers, he always said, never quit your job on a bad day. I think that goes for entrepreneurship. Never quit your business on a bad day. If it's a good day and you realize, this is a crappy idea and there's really not a market for it, okay, I'm happy with where I'm at. But if it's a bad day and you just feel down on yourself, that's the worst time to quit, because you never know if the next day or next month is when you're going to hit it and really take off. So, kind of to summarize, this is like our tips on how to start a business in one semester. And there's a lot of different like technical terminology, like the quarter model, and all these analyses that you're going to learn in your classes and stuff that we did not incorporate in there. So this is like our ragtag model of things that we did to start a successful business. And I think the biggest one, accountability. I would not be here without Shad. Shad's incredible. He complements my strengths so well. I'm very talkative. I'm very creative and innovative, but I hate pricing. I hate operations, and I hate the nitty-gritty details. And we always kind of joke, I'm the optimist and he's the realist, and together that kind of keeps us on the same plane. So find someone that complements your strengths and that will keep you accountable. And again, this room, there's so many of you that could start a business today. Find someone that you jive with, talk to them, and eat pizza, and start writing down your 100 ideas, right? That's the big thing. Find someone, accountability, and just start writing your ideas.
And then pizza and whiteboards. I mean, that's our recommended option, but you can do whatever you want. Write down just a bunch of ideas. Like me and Matthew, we didn't even get to 100. We didn't get past 20. We spent many hours getting to each idea, breaking it down, see if it's realistic, but it was on about our 20th idea. We're like, oh, wow, this is it. This is a good one. So you just got to write them down. The ideas aren't going to come to you unless you write them down. A lot of times they will come to you, but you'll just forget about them. If Matthew hadn't we had him in meeting at the time when he had that idea and he hadn't decided to bring it up, we probably wouldn't be working on it right now. It'd probably just flown right across his head. So yeah, write down your ideas.
And then as you saw, create a minimal, once you have an idea, create a minimal viable product, right? Landon will teach you a lot of that in your class. But that can be as simple as just like making an origami version. That's pretty much what our game was, right? We took paper and we just drew it out, right? Create a minimal viable product. Start, whether that's in China or you have a buddy that, again, is an engineer. The makerspace here at SUU, you can talk to people that are studying engineering and architecture. They can help you draft your product. But create an MVP as soon as possible.
And then validate it, prove it. You got to see if it's sellable. Me and Matthew, we wouldn't have known if it worked if we hadn't done so many competitions, spoken to hundreds of people about it. The only reason we knew it would work is because we had hundreds of people validate the idea. And everybody who's played our game and our final versions has loved it so far. So make sure to test it. Now, I guess you can probably sum up this entire list as usual as most entrepreneurship business starting list as honestly just action. Like that's really what it is. You just got to do something. And it definitely is easier said than done. Me and Matthew, we had a few times during earlier semesters where we're like, oh, let's start a business. I think we probably have like 2 or 3 like group chats for like our new business start phase that we never actually, they're just dead now. They're just somewhere, just long gone. But it's just, you just got to keep the grit going. Just got to keep going. We kept meeting, we kept talking. It was always on the forefront of our mind. And if you're always thinking about it, if it's always your goal, the truth is you're going to create it. That's how it is. Whatever you're focused on will happen. Humans are crazy. They can do some really miraculous things. So yeah, take action. That's all it is. It doesn't have to be a good idea. It could be as simple as a packaging company, like it could be anything. Really could be anything. It could be something that exists. Me and Matthew, we were lucky to find something that doesn't really exist, but the truth is the tabletop industry, it's very, there's a lot of games out there. It's a very hard market to get into because there's a lot of people making games. So it's still going to be difficult for us. We're going to have our problems with marketing, troubles with pushing through, and we're going to have tons of points maybe where we're going to be like, oh, we should give up. Let's just go back. But we haven't so far, and we don't plan to. So just take action. That's as simple as it is.
And then, most of all, you guys are on the best launch pad in the world. So again, we would not be here if it wasn't for Christina Nain, who first hired Shad and I to work together on Hope Corps. And she believed in us, and she helped us and mentored us along the way. And every single time there's a pitch competition, she's like, guys, you should participate. And we would be like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then we got cold feet and we wouldn't do it. And then finally, last year, we did. And it was an incredible cycle with Landon and Christina and Tyler's support, all of the EC. We really took off. And in one semester, we generated over $16,000 in seed funding from these competitions. Obviously, we put in the work and prepared and worked our butts off, but we had so much support from SUU and incredible people that work in the center. And point being, you are in the most optimal state to start to to have a startup. You have incredible people you're surrounded by that complement your strengths, as well as opportunity to receive free funding, thousands of dollars of free funding, as well as mentorship from lifetime successful entrepreneurs. This is the time to start, and it's so easy. You just gotta take the first step.
Yeah, no, not much more to that. It's take that action. It's crazy how much money the school gives out. Honestly, I don't know how they make money. It's crazy. So just take those opportunities. All the faculty, everyone here is like here to help you. This is genuinely the best position you could be in to start a business. So why not start now? Take that action now. So how to start a day? Create a list of 100 ideas. Find someone to keep you accountable. Talk to Landon and Christina to get involved, get started, get involved with the entrepreneurship program and everything. It's there to put people who are like-minded together, people who are ambitious, people who will be successful. And I'm sure all you guys will be successful. So, yeah, anything out of that?
I think the fact that you guys are in this class shows that you have, okay, either one of two options. You wanted a really easy, fun, one-credit class, right? Or two, there's kind of a bug. You have a bug for business. You're curious, right? Could I start my own business? And the answer is yes, you totally can. And you can do it in one semester. You just gotta find someone to keep you accountable and just start working. So that is our presentation. If you want to stay up to date on Crypto Wells and when our final product is launched, feel free to scan the QR code. But thank you for your time and listening to our story. We appreciate it.
Price? Honestly, in a lot of ways, just arbitrary. It's just pricing, psychology, and also looking at other examples. We looked at the games that were currently out there and the ones that are coming out, and the truth is most of them are just showing up at either $20 to $25, no, $20 to $30, honestly. So our games are a little bit larger than some of the smaller games, sell for $20. So we're like, yeah, $24.99. That's a good number. So honestly, as of right now, not too much thought put into it. I'm sure it'll change a lot as we start doing some marketing, get really in depth with it. So. I'm sure it'll adjust.
How did you guys meet your mentor? Or mentors?
Yes, that's a good question. So, first mentor, Christina, we just went into the Entrepreneurship Center and started talking. She took us under her wing. But I think exactly. Even if you don't participate in a competition, going and watching the competitions and hearing the ideas. And then the most valuable thing you can do is actually go up and talk to the people afterwards. So many people, they're like, okay, the meeting's done, I'm out of here, time to go watch Netflix. But the people that linger and talk to those people that I don't know, you can tell they're wealthy and they're like just very casual, but they're very humble at the same time. You're like, I'm just gonna go talk to them. They look important. Just talk to people. Introduce yourself. Get connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it can feel really awkward, but like I said earlier, networking is super important. Just talk to people. These people aren't like they're not here judging because they're here judging because they want to support you guys, because they want to participate, they want to give back to the community. So if you talk to them, they're not going to brush you off. Like they're open to talking to you guys. So I say just talk to everyone you can. That's what it is.
And Landon can also connect you as well. That's the whole point of the program. The main thing though is you got to show like that you want it, right? Because these are very busy people, and they definitely will take time to meet with you. But if you are proactive, like, hey, I have this prototype, or I have this idea, and this is what I've done. I've started my website, I've done this. I would love to have 5 minutes of your time, something like that.
When are you trying to have Crypto Wells on shelf per se?
Well, the manufacturing process, downside of China is they have to ship it on a boat, and it takes like 3 months. But we're hoping to have to be able to do our pre-sales in about 2 weeks, and then ship things out either before Christmas. So by Christmas.
Getting on shelves though, really, literally getting on shelves might be a little bit harder though. There's a lot of work that is involved in getting on shelves in like just your average retail location like Walmart or such others. So, and there's a lot of fees as well. Like Amazon takes a lot of money from you. We thought originally like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell on Amazon, it'll be great. And the amount of people and our mentors that said, no, don't do that, please don't do that, is crazy. So that's another benefit of having mentors. They can tell you to steer away from certain paths because you'd probably be barking up the wrong tree. So it's important to take care of your margins because there's a lot of cost involved.
So again, want to say thanks again to them and give them one last round of applause.